Hi, I'm Dr. Courtney, Jesus Professor, and in this episode of Jesus 101, we're discussing 4 ways that we often bear false witness against our neighbor. There are several ways that we tend to violate the command against bearing false witness. Sometimes the effect is to cast the other party in a bad light, as if they've committed some crime or some sin. At other times, the effect is to manipulate or trick them into making decisions contrary to their most likely actions if they knew the whole truth. In our mental gymnastics, we often justify false witness to ourselves in its various forms. We do tend to avoid the most obvious case of blatant, outright lies, at least most of the time. Rather than create a story out of whole cloth, we simply change a detail or two in a way that creates a different implication for the target of our lies. If the facts we actually observe are insufficient for our purposes, we lie and we create additional facts in hopes of accomplishing our goal. Suppose we call the police about a suspected burglar outside a neighbor's house. If he's just standing there, but we want the police to get there more quickly, we might bear false witness by adding that we see him trying to break in, or perhaps we might add that he has a gun, even if we don't see it. A second way that we bear false witness is to speak about the intent or the emotion of another party beyond the facts directly observed. One can possess a crowbar or bolt cutters without the intent to break in or steal anything. One can possess a gun without the intent to harm. One can raise their voice without being angry. One can show kindness without wanting anything in return. One can maintain a nice appearance without being vain or having bad motives. A third way that we bear false witness is to exclude essential information that supports a different conclusion. This is information that we'd probably want to have if we were making the decisions based on the information. Maybe the essential information is that we're not completely sure of what we've observed. Maybe it was just the same make and model of car. Maybe it was just a tall man with a similar build and coloring as the man that we were saying that we saw. Maybe we saw the guy with the gun doing things suggestive of hunting or target shooting or self-defense rather than committing a crime. Maybe we were having some pain prior to the injury that we claim caused the pain. Maybe we contributed to the lack of peace that we're complaining about. Maybe we have information about the thing we are selling or the service that we're providing that suggests it's not as valuable as we want our target to believe. This goes way beyond car salesmen and real estate agents. Consider teachers in schools who inflate grades to keep the parents happy and the taxpayer funding rolling in. Though I think you have a case that this is breaking the command not to steal more than false witness, because it's clearly an example of fraud or theft by deception. A fourth way that we bear false witness is to state one specific conclusion that is consistent with our observations in spite of other possible conclusions. A common example is to infer causality between events. A person being present and something being missing does not mean that the person stole the missing item. We should not testify to that. We should not make a report of any kind about that unless we saw the person take the item and we know the person didn't have permission to take it. A car accident followed by an injury claim does not mean the car accident caused the injury. A decision followed by a negative outcome does not mean the decision caused the negative outcome. The best way to prevent false witness is just to shut up and not say anything unless and until we have some duty to speak. If we have a clear duty to speak, we also avoid false witness by going to the suspected offender and having a calm and reasoned conversation about what we've seen and heard and talking it through first with the suspected offender. False witness is not in play at all until we speak to third parties. If we have a duty to speak to third parties, we avoid false witness by only speaking to limited third parties, those who have a duty to know, and we avoid false witness by only speaking what we actually saw and heard with an honest statement of our confidence level, and we withhold making further inferences about motive or intent or drawing conclusions from the limited information of what we saw and heard firsthand. We need to fear God. We need to fear God and stop pushing for our desired outcome. We need to take great care not to bear false witness.